channel. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to episode 2 of Lunchbox. Today we're going to be cooking a traditional Vietnamese breakfast. We're making some Vietnamese coffee. We have some baguettes with us, and I'm super excited to be bringing you this recipe today. It's actually very low-key. You're just going to need a couple of ingredients, whatever you have at home, and yeah, I'm going to be talking about a couple of things I wish I could have told my younger self, as I'm approaching my mid-20s now, which is crazy. Stay tuned. You all know that past couple of weeks I've been trying to take a caffeine break, not really drinking as much coffee, but you know what? I can never turn down a good cup of Vietnamese coffee. It's something that I grew up drinking, and yeah, I'm going to be making it for you all this morning. I have my cups lined up here, and then some of you might know like Cafe du Monde is a really popular ground coffee that we use. We also use Nguyen, which is what I use at home. Sometimes my family will like mix different grounds together. The main ingredient is also some condensed milk. This is my favorite brand. You can also get the cow one too. The cow one is pretty good. When I lived at home with my parents in the morning, I would have to get ready before everybody else, and before my parents took me to school, I had to make coffee for my mom, and she was super picky about it. So this is how she taught me how to do it. Also, peep my friends in the background. Thank you, Nguyen, for filming for me today. Woo! Depending on if you want iced or hot, the ratios are going to stay the same. Depends on how sweet you want your coffee. I do 1 tablespoon into the bottom, and you want it to cover the base of the cup. So I normally like to drink my coffee warm most of the time. These are little coffee pour overs, and it serves 1, so you can totally find this in any Asian market that you live by. They usually sell it for a couple of dollars, which is nice because these last for a really long time. But what I like to do is I like to line the bottom with some paper towel. And depending on how strong you want your coffee to be, normally I do 3 tablespoons of the ground coffee. By this time, you should probably heat up your water. Okay, welcome back. We changed the camera battery. It should be all good now and juiced up. So once you put your coffee into the metal cup, you want to tap it and make sure that it's all nice and even before you screw on the top. You don't have to make it super tight, but I just try to make sure that everything's nice and even. And then I twist it down. And then you're going to put all of these on top. Here we go. While we're waiting for the coffee to brew, what I'm doing is I'm just going to let the water seep through once all the way, and then we're going to do one more time. But before I do that, I wanted to share the first thing I wish I told myself like a few years ago, and that is burnout is real, so it's really important to make time for the things that you love to do, which is such a great segue because this portion of today's video is happily sponsored by Skillshare. If you all have been around for a minute now, you all know how much I love Skillshare. It's an online platform that offers tons of different classes to all sorts of creatives. And yeah, they offer classes on cooking, planning, they offer classes on financing. I've been taking a course by Mimi Chow. This was a staff pick, and her class is called Mindful Growth and the Creative Journey, Find Your Spark and Map Your Future. During the whole time of the pandemic, I feel like many people were tapping into their creative interests, which is really exciting to see. Now many people are going into different business ventures, which is really exciting. And in her course, she basically talks about how to make time for your art, how to make more time and energy for the things that you really like to do and to tap into your passions. So cooking is definitely one for me. The reason why I chose to do breakfast this morning is because when I was growing up, my family and I loved having like Sunday morning dinners together, and that was like a must-do for all of us. It was mandatory. We all cooked together, and this was like an example of breakfast that we made together. So just to be able to share that with my friends now is something that I am really passionate about. We always get so caught up with day-to-day responsibilities, and the responsibilities are going to keep growing, but the one thing that we don't get back is time. So I feel like what you do with your time is really important. The last thing I wanted to mention from her course is I really loved how she mapped out actual strategies and things that you could actually do to make more time for yourself. I have spent a lot of time mindlessly scrolling through social media, and Skillshare allows me to be more intentional with my screen time, and it allows me to chill while learning at the same time. And for as little as $10 a month, you get access to
all sorts of classes and courses where you can build an online community with other people that are like-minded. The first 1,000 people to use the link in my description box will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. So be sure to check it out and let me know what you think.
When I first started experiencing burnout is basically the feeling you get after being overworked. When you're overworking your brain too much, you're spending too much of your energy on a lot of different things at once. You could be spending a lot of time and energy on like one thing, and that's like lingering over your mind. It could be a possibility that you are feeling burnt out. I experienced that early on in high school because I was working, I was dancing, I was going to school all at the same time. And I didn't really realize how important it was for me to stop and pause and really prioritize the things that are really important to me, which, you know, is time with family, time with my loved ones, cooking. And the second thing that I wish I would have told my younger self is that knowledge is power. So the more that you know about something, the more control you are in. With any big life decisions that you're making, financially, emotionally, academically, really get to know your finances really well. Really get to know that the new role that you're in if you're starting a new job. Be open and be flexible to learning as much as you can, because there are so many things in this world that people don't tell us. Like, I didn't grow up with very much. We were in a working class. There's a lot of things that my parents are just learning now as immigrants coming from a different country, coming to the United States, learning how stocks work, learning how to put my money into investments, learning how to do X, Y, and Z. Like, nobody taught us those things in school. If you can carve out time for yourself now, the earlier the better. The more you know about your finances, the more you know about your ins and outs of your money and where it's going, the more control you'll be in and the more freedom you'll have to be able to do the things that you want to do. The third thing I wish I would have told my younger self is learning how to protect your energy and learning how to really insert healthy boundaries, whether it means like saying no to going out all the time if you don't like going out. If you know that you need to cut back on certain habits. Welcome to the island. I have a couple of things prepped here before we jump in. I have some lapsung, which is Chinese sweet sausage, spam. If you know, you know. If you grew up eating spam, I grew up eating spam a lot. And then I also just have some green onions here. We're gonna need some eggs. And then I also have some baguettes that we're gonna eat with. I grew up like not really knowing how to set boundaries with people, and I didn't know how to set boundaries with myself. So I felt like I spent so much time working and stressing and doing X, Y, and Z, thinking about everybody else, when I really needed to come back to myself and really think about what I needed in order for me to like be the best person that I could be in the relationships that I have. So these are pretty much done. This one's gonna be the warm one, this one's gonna be a cold one. All the ice pretty much melted. All I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add ice to it. And boom. Cheers. Boop. Okay, here's our hot one. And I didn't add any ice into it, but I literally just warm it up and then add a little bit more water. These are just like regular baguettes, but we're preheating the oven right now to 375, and then we're gonna put it in for like 10 minutes. I wanted to show you guys eggs 3 different ways. She's gonna put it in. For the first eggs, all you need is spring onions, and then... Alright, so in the pan, all I have is some butter going. You want your pan to be pretty hot, so just give it a second, let her do its thing. And then I'm gonna put in the egg. And then you want the sides to cook for a while, so I literally just let it like do its thing. I'm gonna do these. But don't let it cook all the way, because the last thing you want is for the egg to burn at the bottom. So just keep moving it around a little. I think think the fourth thing that I would have told my younger self is that it's okay to feel guilty whenever you're making like really big important decisions. It's gonna affect everybody around you, but don't let that guilt hang over you for too long, and don't let it influence in the way that you think about yourself, especially if you're making these big decisions for yourself to become better, to do things that you need to do. There's a lawnmower outside, but we're just gonna roll with it. So anyway, I'm saying that because I felt like any decision that I was making, like growing up, I always tried to consider somebody else in my decision making. So if that meant like moving out, if it meant like me going to the bar that night, any decision that I made, like I wasn't thinking about myself. I was trying to think about catering to everybody else's needs. It's not your responsibility to fix somebody else's issues. It's not your responsibility to not do what you need to do, so that way, you know, you are setting your future up for success. So you want them to look kind of like spongy like this, and it's nice and fried right underneath. The last piece of advice I would have given to my younger self is to stop forcing things to work when they don't work, and also just trusting in the divine timing of things, because honestly there's so many things to be grateful for every day. Something I always try to ask myself now is like, how am I actively seeking joy each day? The energy that you put out is the energy you're gonna get right back. So if that means that you're feeling really stuck right now, you're gonna continue to manifest that energy until you change, and you're, you know, being open to being flexible and releasing the emotional weight that you carry all the time. So just let it go, sis. Let it go. You know? Okay, anyway, that's my TED Talk for today. We're gonna finish up. The bread is burning right now. She needs to get out. I'm gonna come back to y'all in like 2 minutes with all of the B-roll. Peace out. Okay. Chef's good. Did you hear that crunch? It actually is good. Okay, so try this at home. Let me know. I had a good point and then I lost it. That it's okay to feel guilty about. Not about that.
Bloopers.
Not about that.